Chantal, let me know when you start. Hey, Mike. Okay. Um, we're getting ready to stream on YouTube this morning. Um, this definitely is going to be more of an educational room. Talk a little bit about some of the testing that we do. Um, Mike, you want to kind of be careful on this one. This is revised data. And the normal report has not been behaving well. And I don't want to see you lose money on a Friday, especially after the bond report. I have no plans on trading this morning. Even though okay, that's, I don't follow that because the jobs report is always on Fridays. And sometimes there's good reports also after the jobs report. I find that it makes no difference. For me, it's just, for me, it's just a mediocre report. I don't generally want to trade it. That's the approach I take more and more nowadays. If a report's really not behaving, I'm not that interested. There's just no reason. I made a list this morning of a lot of the reports that I like to trade, and I was surprised how many there were. There was a lot. There is no DMM for this, so there wouldn't have been. And now, are you referring to something else, or are you referring to the fact that there was no report? Okay, right. There was no report yesterday because there is no DMM. Let me start the room. All right, folks. So welcome to the 10-minute trades trading room, and we're here for revised University of Michigan is the news we're looking at. And my name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10-minute trades. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. Give us a like if you like learning about event-based trading. That's what we do. We also call it appointment-based trading. Remember, all the trades we discuss for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures. So trade carefully and trade smart. All right, so because this report has not been performing, first of all, this is an unofficial trade. If we were going to trade it, it's unofficial, meaning it does not have a daily trade report. It's a news event that I personally, as the trade room moderator, have been looking at potentially to trade. There are times when it responds okay, but overall, it has been tremendously inconsistent. What's interesting is last month, it really traded well. And it always motivates me to keep looking at the report when it has good behavior. October, it did nothing. February, which is the report we're looking at here, had one of the few really good revised reports. Keep in mind that there is data types that will give you a tip as to whether or not a report has good potential to move. If the data is revised or final, That's the worst data for a report. Now, ironically, in February, it had a decent move. Okay, it had a decent move, but it has not had very good moves in many of the other months. Getting back to the data, which is very important. The markets are opening, so you've got your volatility. So you have multiple types of data. Final and revised usually mean, not usually, they mean that the report was released 10 days to 2 weeks earlier, and this is a secondary version, sometimes a third version of the report with updated data, revised or final. And it's very often has less impact than the major report. This report traded a couple of weeks ago. It looked like at best, we were not here. I was not here for that report that day. First one I've missed in a long time on this particular event, but I had to go somewhere. And when I analyzed the result, it looked like possible one target of maybe 3 to 4 ticks trading gold, meaning very, very small profit potential on the main report. That was on the main report roughly 2 weeks ago, 10 days, 2 weeks ago. It was about 10 days ago. This report has not been performing well in its official capacity with the main data, which is called preliminary data. And that's another type of data that a report, when you look at a calendar, and today's calendar is wrong, by the way, on investing.com. It says P for preliminary. It's not preliminary. It was preliminary 10 days ago. The gold standard, in our opinion, of calendars is Forex Factory. And when you look at the Forex Factory calendar for today, and you slide down because it's Friday, it says revised University of Michigan, and it's low impact color. Okay? And that is correct. That is correct. It's not preliminary. The other type of data is sometimes the GDP reports. Sometimes you hear flash data, like flash manufacturing. That usually is an impactful report if it says flash. GDP sometimes will say preliminary, sometimes it'll say advanced, and it'll say final. Advanced is in the middle, usually tradable. Final is usually quieter in terms of the impact. So those are important things to know about data and its effect, its possible effect on a report. Okay? Those are things you need to know if you're going to be an appointment-based trader or a news trader. If you don't, someone sent me an email today. I have X amount of dollars. Can you help me trade it in oil? And I wrote a long email back saying, no, I can't. First of all, can you even get an account set up for $500? It made me email NinjaTrader to get it go. It's been so long since I've opened my own account or our account that I wanted to email them and verify all the expenses of opening up an account, because people ask me all the time, can I open up an account with $500? Now, you can trade micros. If you have $500 in your trading account, you can trade micros, but there is not a micro gold and micro oil. I mean, there is a micro gold. There's a smaller oil, QM, that does not have great liquidity, but there is not a micro oil future. So for $500, I don't recommend trading oil. But I recommend learning about trading. Don't ask somebody how to spend your money. Ask them how to learn about trading. That will help you the most. So I just thought it was kind of funny, the email, because I hate to say no. I'd rather say yes. And I explained to him that, join the trade room for $97. Go to our website, become a member of our website, and you can join our trade room. That $97 investment allows you to spend a whole month watching news appointment-based trades. And for $97, you're not spending $5,000 on a robot that doesn't work. You're spending $97 to learn, is this style of trading right for you? That's an investment in yourself that makes more sense than asking me how to spend the 500 trading oil that you're going to lose. You're going to lose that 500, because what do you do if you have one bad trade? You're not going to be able to trade anymore. 500 barely covers, it doesn't even cover the margin anyway, so you can't trade oil with $500. Anyway, it just got me thinking about all of the mistakes that newbie traders make. And everybody makes the same mistakes. Oh, I heard oil's really moving, and I'm not knocking this person at all. I just think the key is to make sure that you learn how to devise your own trades. If you learn how to do whatever system you choose, learn how to do it on your own. That's the best advice I can give. I mean, it's just the best advice I can give. This is a really strange week. It started out with a couple of small winners, like $30 on API, $30 on, I'd have to look at my notes, but I started out with $120 in profits on 3 trades. Core durable goods was $60, API was 30, existing home sales we only made 30, and then we got blasted yesterday. And then I got scared off the oil trade, which was a beautiful winner. I made $80 on natural gas, and we got blasted on Thursday jobless claims, and I got stopped out and lost $240. And then the 7-year note auction saved the week. It wound up being a profitable week that if I made this much money every week, it would be enough to pay my office rent. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, it was not a lot of money. It was barely $1,000 profit this week. Sorry, it was barely $200 profit this week, projected over 4 to 5 weeks, which is a reasonable projection. I would, obviously, you want to make more than $200 a week. But people write me the craziest notes. They say, hey, I never traded before. I want to make $1,000 a day. How do you tell somebody you're dreaming? If you don't spend some time learning how to do this, you're not going to make $1,000 a day. And I have a $2,500 account. I think you all get the point. This week was a small profit week, but even a small profit week projected, if every week is a small profit week, you can still pay your rent or your mortgage with this type of trading, even on small profit weeks. Ideally, you want more than a small profit week. My point is, it was profitable rather than a loser because we didn't let fear stop us from trading. We had a really lousy trade in the morning, but we just kept trading our normal way all the rest of the day, and we got rewarded in the afternoon. And that's also one of the main things you absolutely have to believe in. If you have a bad trade to start the day, you just got to keep trading your normal way the rest of the day. because the chances are good you'll make that money back. Mike made his money back plus some. I made my money back plus some. It wound up being a good day. I mean, I didn't make $1 million, but it still wound up being a nice, positive day. This is the report we're looking at. We did a lot of testing, so we're looking to see if the NQ is possible. All right, and we're looking at the NQ on more and more tests. Sometimes we'll do it live. If the testing's amazing, we'll do it live. This is not amazing, okay? This is just not an amazing report. It's had some good periods. It's never been amazing, okay? Anyway, I'm using a bracket of 15. And on the NQ, we're using a stop of 25. And if you think a stop of 25 is too big, then you're not looking at the way the NQ's been moving, okay? The NQ has been off its rocker for weeks. Today, it's quiet. It's only 17 points. And it was 13 points. It moves points in seconds, which it used to do in minutes. I'm using targets of 10 and 30 on the NQ. And I'm just testing 2 positions. And I'm just testing because the best test is on live market data, okay? And if our testing was unbelievable and this report really made me confident that it was a great report to make money on, I would trade it live. But I'm not at that point on this report. This is revised data. It's not main data. And the main data report, the big brother of this report, has not been profitable, okay, over the past 6 months. So those are the things that help you make your decision about whether or not you're going to risk real money. Performance, performance, performance. That's how it works for us. So my NQ test, Chantal, you might want to verify I got it right. I'd greatly appreciate it if you feel like it. Bracket of 15. I'm using 1 target for 10 ticks, 1 target for 30. And frankly, if I trade the NQ and I believe in my trade, I'm either going to trade 3 or 4 contracts, and I'll double up on position 1, and I might add a 3rd position because the NQ is moving like a banshee. But today we're just testing on real market data. We want to see if our setup is safe, okay? We want to see if our setup is safe. That's the most important test you can make. So that's my NQ test. I'm entering my orders onto the chart at 9:59:59. It's a 10 o'clock event, theoretically, okay? And then you want to label your trade because I'm also setting up a gold test. So NQ gets labeled and it's revised. University of Michigan. I know if I say Michigan, it's University of Michigan. All right. That's my NQ trade. I'm keeping my data off to the side, the results, because I want to do an honest test on gold. Okay. We don't have a DMM. We don't have a DMM. Right. I thought I did do a 25 stop, Chantal. Pretty sure I went with your stop. Yes. 25 stop. Because of the way that NQ is moving. Chantal does a lot of our testing. and she's really good at it. My second trade, so I need a baseline, right? So I pulled up a recent preliminary University of Michigan, and I don't use a bracket of 5 right now on gold. For me, it's too small. So my setup that I would try on this report, I'd use a bracket of 6. And you could see how the big brother has not been trading well. This is the big brother report. Preliminary University of Michigan. It had been a great or a very good report to trade. Targets of 5 and 8. What I would do is, it's a smaller moving report. 3 and 12, okay? Or 3 and 10. And again, we're just testing. I wouldn't want to risk more than 10 ticks of gold. My bracket is 6. And my entry time I almost like 10 o'clock, but I'll do 59. There's always a chance the news is going to be right on time, and it's going to be rolling if you enter at the exact time of the news. And sometimes if you enter a trade while it's already rolling on, it's like jumping on a moving train. You might miss. And you might miss the move because it's moving too fast. Okay? So my gold test is a bracket of 6, and it might be too big. But the gold market has been pretty darn volatile. But I'd rather not get filled. I'd rather catch the move when it has some drama, when it's got some activity. So, and we're testing. If our bracket's too big, we'll know it, and we'll shrink it next time. Bracket of 6, 1 target for 3 ticks, 1 target for 10, stop of 10, and I'm entering at 9:59.59, and it's a breakout trade. That's my gold test, okay? And we said on our schedule that this trade was a watch, all right? This trade was a watch. Also, on our schedule, it explains it does not have a daily report. I'm extremely interested in seeing what the NQ does. Let's check our time. We want to put our computer in sync by going to the website time.is. That put my computer in sync. You can see it. Okay. Who's here? Alex, is that you? Alex, is that you? Is that my buddy Alex from Hong Kong? Or is that a different Alex? All right. So everybody understand what our purpose here is today, right? This is our only trade room today. There's not a lot of activity today. That's okay. It's really okay. You could have definitely had a better week than I had. And some people did. Okay? And that's the truth. Some people did. And I'll be watching the data, the news that's important. This is really a consumer report, but it's going to start to look at inflation more. People don't realize it, but it's also an inflation report. Inflation expectations. They have it as a single star. I would upgrade it to a double star because there's a lot of talk now about inflation with the bill that was passed, the rescue bill, the America, Save America bill. They're concerned there might be some inflation. I'm all for inflation if it puts money in the hands of people in the country that need it. And at the risk of getting in trouble, did you know that we are the only fully developed country in the world that doesn't have health care for our citizens? So people that moan and groan about health care for all, get a grip, people. Get a grip. It doesn't make you a communist or a socialist. It's not even progressive for a country to take care of its citizens' health care. People need to get a grip. Wake up. Who's blue? Mark, who is blue? I'm not a basketball fan. Fred, who's blue in the Final Four? Are they in the Final Four? Who's blue? University of Michigan. Did Villanova get eliminated? Nova's in the Sweet 16. Okay, usually they're really good. They won about 10 years ago. Is that right, Mark? They won about 10 years ago, maybe a little longer. Is it that long ago? I remember it was incredibly exciting. Okay, University of Michigan, men and women still in the Sweet 16. Nova's still in there. Is Gonzaga really favored? Is that true? So we're going to watch the NQ. I'm going to watch Gold also. The Zags. They call them the Zags. That's funny. I'm really glad they had the NCAA this year. I know that my son was telling me that downtown Philly was mobbed today. Like overnight. There's no question that in big cities, the vaccines are making a very, very big difference. Okay, it was 2018. I didn't pay attention in 2018, Mark. Nova won in 2018. Wow. I didn't realize that Nova won that recently. Is Jay Wright still the coach? I'm guessing he is. Very good coach. You know, they lost their best player. I really haven't been following. I used to. When I lived with my son, I followed because he was a big fan. See, look at the NQ. It started where it was only up about 12 points. It's now up 53, folks. And you think a 25 tick stop is big? It's not. It's like 5 points, 6 points, 6.25 points. It's not much. I'm going to check my time once more. The NCAA is a big deal in this area because there are so many colleges. Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and the Philadelphia suburbs, tons of colleges. University of Pennsylvania, Drexel, Nova, Cabrini. There's bigger ones. Temple. There's a lot of schools, a lot of teams that people really care about. Look at the NQ. That's a 822. That's a 13-point candle. You're going to tell me these markets are not crazy for the indexes? B1G. What's B1G? Oh, Big Ten. Big Ten. So, in this market, a very small report like revised University of Michigan. Now, gold is not so volatile. I would personally maybe rather be trading it on gold because gold, it's only 1.7 points since the 6 p.m. open of the markets. That's when I look at them. And the way you can control that is in your data series, right click the ninja chart and how you choose your trading hours. Okay. That's what controls your pivots and when they are calculating from. Now, the NASDAQ, I'm stretching my charts because I don't want my bracket to be so small that we can't tell what's happening in the trade. You could see the NASDAQ is probably too dangerous to trade. Just too much volatility. Our bracket is probably too small. 15 is probably not big enough. We want to see if the news comes out early, late, on time. Okay. It's very important. And if you stick around, I'll go over next week's schedule real quick. NQ. So NQ might have been a very good setup. Might have been a very good setup. Gold, no response. No response. You've got a decent offset. Nothing to write home about. Gold, I would have canceled. I would not have let that trade. Okay. You could ignore this gold trade. It would have been canceled. There's no way I would have let that trade. It was a dull response. Okay. It was a dull response. And look, it's going up anyway. Maybe it'll go up. Gold is just trending, has nothing to do with the news. Okay. It's got nothing to do with the news. Even in sim, I don't like to lose money. So, gold, if you stayed in, which I would not have, you could have had a winning trade. But let's look at the video for the NASDAQ. That's what we want to see. Was our NASDAQ trade safe? And we'll have to look at the video to see that. So give me a second. We'll take a look. It only takes 20 seconds to render a video with Snagit. So let's take a look. Look at that reversal. Pretty incredible. It's a big candle. So here's the trade. Chantal, you can stick your nose in. So we had a bracket. I put my orders on at 59, okay? At 59. Nine seconds from here. So it looks pretty safe because our price was in the middle of the bracket, okay? Price was in the middle of the bracket. It never got to the bottom. There was never a chance that you were going to get filled on the downside. It looks like it was potentially safe. It was very fast, right? It was very fast, but not so fast. Chantal, if you want to chime in, I think it was a winner. The way that you can tell, whoa, you're going to tell me these markets are not nuts? That 840, that's a 38-point candle, folks. That's a 1 minute candle. That's a 1 minute candle. Yes, let's look at the range chart. Let's look at the range chart. So the range chart, we want to go back to the time of the trade, okay? And it's tricky to get there. On the range chart, see how I could see my orders right there? Chantal, can you help me here? Can you see? So our fill was 1450 down here. We got filled at 10 o'clock, 1 second. We got filled as it started moving up. So Chantal, even if we got filled, let's put the data box, right click the chart, put the data box on the chart because it shows the volume of the candles. Very low volume on these candles, okay? So Chantal, it says we got filled here. I think you might have gotten filled here. What do you think? No. Here's my, oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Hold on. My mistake. There's our fills. I apologize. I was looking at my exits. Okay, so I think you would have gotten filled somewhere not at 12, but more probably at 1350. What do you think? See, I think you would have gotten filled in this area. 1350. Because the volume's so low on these up candles, you generally are not going to get filled until the direction changes. Okay? There's a very good possibility you'll get filled at the directional change. Now, because it didn't pull back, it would have been a safe trade. Do you agree with me, Chantal? That would have been a safe trade because it never pulled back. It wasn't the top of the whole move up. It was the top of the beginning of the move. Do you follow me? Right. It might not have gotten a 30 tick second target. It would have gotten our first target easily, I think. And you might have had to manage. See? It may not have given you your 30 ticks for your second target. All right. But you need to use the range chart because it shows every little tick. And the way you want to be sure that you got filled is when you look for an area where the direction changes. That very often, when the volume on the candles is onesies and sixes and threes, it's the area where you get that change in direction, most commonly where you'll get filled. Okay? So if we look at the move again in the video, it might make a little more sense what happened. So you get a picture in your head on the range chart. And see, there was like a double move. So it before, I think you wouldn't have gotten filled at 12. You would have gotten filled somewhere in here because that's the area where it also backed up. You can't see it easily with the naked eye. We saw it on the range chart. See how it stuttered? That area that it stuttered. Okay. So there was a double move, very hard to see, but I do believe it probably would not have hit the second target for us because we got filled closer to the second target than it would have been in sim. In real life, it would have been a slower fill. Okay. But still, I think we can start to test some of our trades with one contract on the NQ. We'll start to do some more live testing in the room because the testing looks like it's working on most of the trades. It does look like it's working. Gold, I would not have traded it today. Even though it seemed to work, it just was in a trend of its own that didn't really relate to the news today, in my opinion. Okay. All right, Mike, you too. Anybody have any questions? If you want to see next week's schedule real quick, let me show it to you real quickly. Next week's schedule, here's what it's looking like, assuming no changes. Tuesday, nothing on Monday. Tuesday, CB Consumer Confidence, API. Wednesday, ADP. I'm planning on trading Canada GDP. Chicago PMI, crude oil inventories, quarterly grain reports. Those are real trades. Pending homes is unofficial, okay? Inconsistent also. Thursday, unemployment claims, ISM and natural gas, real trades. Non-farm, jobs report Friday, Good Friday. Still got the report, Fred. So the question is, how much will Good Friday affect that report? I think it'll make it less crowded, less people trading. That's a very important holiday. but I'll still be here, and I'm guessing a lot of you won't. That a lot of people will miss that trade. Might be more volatile, yes. Might be more volatile. All right, everybody, that's what it's looking like. But the markets are open. As far as I can see, I didn't see any notes that the market was closed. Because it's a religious holiday. It's not like a federal holiday. Are you sure, Fred? I'll triple check. I'll triple check if the Dow's closed. I don't recall ever having a jobs report on Good Friday. The banks are closed. So, hey, look, it's possible we will not have a trade. It's possible. I'll talk to my boss, and we'll make a decision based on all of that. KT, we were just really watching, just testing our new an NQ setup. Maybe target one. Maybe target one. Gold really didn't respond. It's not the preliminary data on the trade, KT. It's a revised version of the report. So it's not the main report. The main report was 10 days ago. All right, folks. So I'll let everybody know. I would hope that maybe they'll delay releasing the jobs report, but I don't think they will. It would be very disappointing if we can't trade it. But if everything's closed, it probably won't make sense to trade it. All right, folks. YouTube folks, give us a like, sign up for our channel, and hit the notification bell so you know the next time that we're here streaming live. We do it at least 4 times a week. Mark, you too. Everybody have a good weekend, and I'll see everybody. See you all next week. All right, folks. Take care, everyone.